Hey guys, it's Rich. I'm locked out of my Facebook account right now. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to go live in 2019 and show you guys. If you notice all the junk as soon as you walk in Walmart, these people pay for the most product to be sponsored right when you walk in because they know that's people's vices and it's around the holidays. So they simply pay for the most stuff to be put up front by the door where everybody can see as soon as they walk in. There are some good things at the door, like there's big giant containers of pork rinds. These are keto approved. So this Utz brand here has these have no additives in it, no junk, no maltodextrin, no dextrose, no nothing like that. These are perfect for making breading and stuff for, you know, breaded chicken. If you want to make some zucchini fries and stuff like that. Guys, remember to give this video a thumbs up and share it. More people can use this info. Happy New Year, guys. So if you notice, like right in the beginning, all the junk that's right up front, these people pay the most for all these products. This is king cake over here. It's like something like 40 grams of carbs per serving. These things are not necessarily healthy at all. What's keto approved and what's not? These tangerines and stuff you see here, way too much sugar. It's not keto approved. Most of the stuff over in the deli section that has pizzas and hamburgers and sandwiches and stuff like that, not keto approved. But you got avocados here, really healthy fat. Most of the greens and stuff you see over here are, but when you find like carrots and things of that nature, peas, those typically have too many starches and too many sugars, not necessarily the brightest idea. Apples, cantaloupes, things of that nature, these things are not going to be keto approved. Too much sugar in it, too much fructose. Even good sugar is bad sugar, especially if you're metabolically damaged. Mushrooms and stuff are essential forms of vitamin D. You get all your greens and things like this. Definitely keto approved. The reason I'm able to do this is because the managers here know me. They see me come in here often and film. They know I promote their products for the most part, so they don't give me any flack. Stuff like tomatoes and things can be keto approved, but you have to be careful because they can be very inflammatory to some people. They can upset your stomach. A lot of people have acid reflux and stuff like that, so they can't really have them. And they're considered one of the nightshade vegetables, so they can be inflammatory for people with arthritic conditions, PCOS, fibromyalgia, things of that nature. These are all potatoes and stuff over here. That's not going to be none of that's going to be keto approved at all. Bananas, things of that nature, not going to be keto approved. You can find just as much potassium, 3 times the amount of potassium in an avocado with way less sugar, really healthy amounts of small amounts of complex carbs and things of that nature, as well as a number of essential vitamins that come in it. Bananas are one of the biggest smokescreen I've ever seen. So actually they don't have very much value to me in general. Avocado is like life. The deli section over here, the deli section is you can have deli meats and stuff like that. Just make sure that it's to a minimal. Like if you're just starting out, I can understand all that, but deli meats are highly processed. They do have sugars and things in them. You got cakes and stuff up here in front. None of this stuff is going to be keto approved. None of it. None of this stuff here, donuts, cakes, none of that. You start to walk around to the outside of it and you'll see that, trying to get this thing to focus a little bit. When you see this fresh Atlantic salmon, if it's farmed, it's not as good as the wild stuff, but the wild stuff you're going to pay more money for. It's got better omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. All the shrimp and stuff, the tilapia, things of that nature, it can be good, but remember, this is the seafood section. A lot of this stuff is farm raised and not wild. The wild caught is always better. I guess somebody took one of the likes away already. Guys, make sure you thumbs up the video. I got 7 people on here. I got 3 likes. I need the algorithm to bump, so the more comments, the more likes I get, the better this video gets spread, the more people get good information. And if you like my information, if you think it's good information, doing that is essential. I just had 4 thumbs ups, and now all of a sudden I have 3, so maybe somebody accidentally hit the button or whatever. But just remember, how we support each other as YouTubers is those likes and those comments definitely matter. Any of this stuff here in the frozen section that has breading and stuff on it is not going to be keto approved at all. If you look over here, even though this is not grass-fed beef, this will be fine. You want to try to get a beef that's like an 80-20 or less. The leaner cuts that you get, they're not gonna control your appetite as much. So any of the red meat and stuff is going to be essential. It's good. You have to be careful with stuff like this. The fajita seasoned beefs and stuff like that. You want to ask the butcher if you want that kind of stuff. You're going to have to ask the butcher what they put in it to make sure they're not putting some type of sugar or something in there. You know, I do a lot of stuff where I make beef tips and stuff like that. I make my own barbecue sauce for them, and I bake them in my own barbecue sauce. I have my own recipe on this channel for barbecue sauce. It is phenomenal. I've already got some feedback in the last few days on it. People are loving it. I wish I would have put it out sooner. Be careful when you buy different types of sausages and things, because they could have different types of sugar and things in there as well. The lowest count will do. Remember, you don't have to be militant in this journey. You don't have to be perfect in this journey. You just have to do the best that you can in this journey. That's all people are asking from you. A lot of people do pork. There's a lot of pork products and stuff here. Pork has a lot of potassium to it. 8 ounces of pork has somewhere around 900 milligrams of potassium. Most people don't even realize that. Any type of chicken and stuff like that is going to be essential for, like, you know, fatty thighs, breasts. You don't want to do too many breasts and things like that, because breasts are they're too lean. They leave you feeling hungry hours later. More of the fattier cuts of chicken, thighs, drumsticks, wings, things like that. Air fryer wings are phenomenal. You make your own sauce, coat them, drop them in the air fryer and fry them. Oh my God, you can live off those things for weeks and without getting tired of it. Bacon is like the staple of keto. But here's a trick that some of you may not know. Here's an essential trick that a lot of people have been doing keto for a long time don't even realize. When it comes to bacon, what are you looking for? You're looking for products that don't have a lot of additives and stuff in it, right? Well, we're always trying to find nitrate-free and stuff like that, but we don't realize that nitrates are in everything. Nitrates are in vegetables, they're in our saliva, they're in everything. So what are we going to do if we want to find the best, cleanest quality? We don't even have to look for uncured. All we got to do is find this low-sodium bacon right here. I've been talking about this for years, and people are not catching on to this. Low-sodium bacon has nothing added to it, literally. Let's see. Well, this one says 0000 everything. This black label, it says, maybe I spoke too soon. This particular one does actually natural hardwood smoked. That's not the one I'm looking for. I'm looking for great value, low sodium. Here. This is the one I'm looking for. Pork cured with water, salt, sodium phosphate, sodium erythrotate, and sodium nitrate. No sugars, no nothing at all. So if you get the great value brand low sodium bacon, you'll find that there are no additives in it at all. They don't put any junk in that. It's probably the cleanest one that you can get. They didn't have dextrose or any of that stuff. So a lot of people that have been doing this for years don't even talk about that. A lot of people that you see on a daily basis that put up their podcasts and stuff like that, they miss that. I'll come into stores and I'll spend hours in stores looking at ingredients labels. I can almost walk through any store and tell you almost what's in almost every single product that's on the shelf. Just by looking at the label, who makes it, the type of content it has, is it a go or no go? And I automatically know whether or not. I spend hours, sometimes 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning in the store just doing nothing but checking out labels and stuff like that. In this section here, you're gonna find ham hocks, smoked turkey wings, you're gonna find salt pork, stuff like that. All this stuff can be acceptable, but remember, try to keep it as low sugar as possible. These deli meats and stuff over here, they can be used as a snack or something like that if you're starting out, but eventually I would like to see people step up into more of a whole food, less processed way of doing things. This week I'm doing a food tour for 2019 at the stores to show you guys what types of food I would consume and what types of food I wouldn't consume. I have, 6 different small keto carnivore groups. Each one of them have a different purpose. I have a public group that's really starting to take off lately, and I just want to make sure that I'm putting out the best content that I possibly can. and then I'm networking with you guys the best that I can. So any of this stuff here, you're starting to see snacks and stuff like that. Most of these are not. This has cashews. You want to be careful because they can be very inflammatory. Nuts in general, even though they are keto approved in some instances, they can be very inflammatory. The omega-6 to omega-3 ratio is off. Just the other day, I was listening to a keto doctor actually talk about algae oil being one of the healthiest oils out there. Well, when you actually look up algae oil, and this is where I don't question credentials. I leave this more upon the person themselves to figure out their information. If you look at algae oil has very high omega-3 and omega-6s. And a lot of the fish and stuff that we eat get a high omega content, but and it comes from algae type stuff because of omega-3. That's where they get most of their omega from. But look at the ratio. It's like 4 times the omega-6 to, it's like 4 to 1 omega-6 to omega-3. And I was thinking to myself the other day, wait a second, if my omega-6 is higher than my omega-3s, I know that's a very inflammatory product. Even though omega-3s may be high, I still don't have the right omega-6 to omega-3 balance. I want higher omega-3 than omega-6. So if it would have been the other way around, if I would have had 4 times the omega-3s to 1 part omega-6, I would have been like, wow, that's an awesome product. I would really like to have that in my diet. That was not the case. I heard this doctor talking about that, and I was like, why are you recommending this? Like, if I can just do a basic Google search and check the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio on this and realize this is a very inflammatory product, just because algae oil seems to be healthy and it's on the shelf, doesn't necessarily mean it's healthy when our body actually starts to pull it apart and use it as nutrients. The omega-6 ratio is way too high. So we know that saturated fat is our prominent. Yes, I do. I love raw meat. There's sometimes people are grossed out by it, but I've done a couple videos on here where I actually eat raw meat. When you look at the fuel source that the body likes to use, it likes to use saturated fat as an awesome fuel source for running, for lifting, for doing all these kinds of things. But when it comes to a fuel source that will coat your cells and stuff like that, that allows the intercommunication between cellular activity and stuff like that, now we start looking at different types of fats that can bend, fats that can that have double carbon bonds and things like that, polyunsaturated fats, things of that nature. Those are the types of fats we need for our cellular activity and our communication. But when it comes to energy, saturated fats are what we need for energy. That's our dominant fuel source when it comes down to it. So this dogma of being afraid of saturated fat is just, it's silly. Another thing to be careful of is shredded cheeses and things of that nature, anti-caking agents and stuff that they have added in it. What I do is I simply come to Walmart and I just get a regular brick of great value cheese and I shred the stuff myself. I mean, if I'm in a pinch and I want to make a recipe and I don't feel like working a lot or something like that, sure, I might buy something that's already pre-shredded, you know, 1 bag or something for just a small use, but that's it. Again, they do have cheaper bacons and stuff on sale for $3 a pack, but you're going to get stuff like, look at the ingredient list on this. It's awesome. So the ingredients list on the cheaper stuff is really, really long. Again, more sausages and things of that nature. You're going to want to be careful of that. Any of this type of cheese that's over here sliced like this stuff that says deluxe, the stuff that's crashed, singles, wrapped in plastic and stuff like that, any of these down here, this is junk. If you're going to get stuff, you want to make sure you get naturally sliced cheese. You know, Sargento and stuff like that. It's real cheddar cheese, stuff like this. But once you start getting down to these single pack, deluxe packs, and down here, all this stuff is junk. I actually did a video where I burned that stuff, and I show people what ends up happening. Real cheese just melts right out onto the pan. You can pick it up and eat it. It doesn't have a bad odor to it or anything. It doesn't even make the cheese like a bad product by burning it. It actually tastes just as good, if not even better in some cases. That fake cheese, you can almost see it rolls up into a plastic, and it almost smells like chemicals in the kitchen. It's terrible. One of the other things to look at whenever you come into the store and you're looking at like cream cheese and stuff like that, if you look at a full fat cream cheese, you'll see it's got minimal ingredients in it, very natural, very real. But if you were to look at a fat-free, this one's 1/3 less fat. If you look, it's got twice the amount of ingredients Now, if we went to a completely fat-free cheese, you would see that it's got like 3 to 4 times the ingredients. It's terrible. Do not buy fat-free anything. Even the different types of cheeses and stuff like that, if you look, the ingredients is terrible on it. It's 3-4 times the amount of product just because they're making up for flavoring and stuff like that. It makes no sense. And you know, you get into these vegan debates and stuff like that with these idiots out there that want to talk about, oh, you know, fat's bad for you, fat's this, fat's that. Your body makes 3,000 milligrams of cholesterol daily, regardless if you're eating cholesterol or not. So if you can have some cholesterol in your diet with real natural fats to tax your body less, why not give it something essential to ease the taxation on it, to produce everything at its maximum production. You know, I love real food. Any of this junk over here, any of these yogurts and things like that, is going to be all this trash. No good. The only thing that I might support a little bit is if you come over here and you look at this Phage Greek yogurt. It's 5%. It's called Phage. It has like 11 different active, what does it say? Grade A pasteurized milk, live active cultures, acidophilus, or blah blah blah. You know, all these other ones I can't even say on here. I think it's got like 11 different cultures or something it says on here. And it has like, it's super low carb. Per 1 cup, it's 7 grams of carb. You know, for 1 cup of Greek yogurt, that's phenomenal. That's going to be something that I could actually try to fit into my diet a little bit if I wanted some just live culture, some, you know, just something a little healthier for my digestive tract to help it heal. Any of this milk and stuff like that is going to be a no-go. I mean, you can't really fit this stuff in. Dairy can be very inflammatory. You'll be walking down the aisle and you'll see this here. If you look at this milk here, yes, you're right. Carbs cause heart attacks. That's. I mean, we're already seeing this. If you're looking at this here, this calorie countdown, it's reduced fat, 2% milk. You can look at this and see, oh wow, it's only got 3 grams of carbohydrates per serving. And it's only 70 calories. Well, I can have this. This will fit my keto diet. Yeah, but look over here at the ingredient label. Ultra filtered fat-free milk, cellulose gel, cellulose gum, calcium carbonate, salt, the sodium phosphate, natural sucralose, sulfame, with potassium, blah 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 blah. That's not natural. That is not natural. Eggs. If we're looking over here at eggs and things of that nature, what I try to do is I try to get the cage-free stuff. I usually buy like just these regular organic brown eggs, but that's not even really what I. Where's there's a real good one. I think they're out of them. Normally they have a box that's got like a fancy. It's a fancy box on it. It says cage-free, hormone-free, everything. You pay like $1 something more a box for it. Those are the ones I typically try to get. But just a regular egg is going to be fine too as well. I mean, you don't have to buy anything fancy, especially if you're just getting into this and you're trying to do the best that you can. Back over here by the milk, the juices and stuff like that, that's a no-go. You're not going to be able to do any of the juices. You might be able to get like a gallon of unsweet tea that has no additives or anything in it, but let me show you something here. Cage-free though, but if you actually look at the difference between cage-free and just regular egg, there's not much difference between them. You actually have to make sure it's like a free-roam, cage-free, organic. I understand everybody's got their, but if you look here, Ready Whip now has a coconut milk, non-dairy whipped cream. But if you look at the ingredient label on it, nitrous oxide, carrageenan, glycerides, maltodextrin, coconut cream, sugar. This stuff would be just buy what you can. It's cage-free. They've already shown that there's studies on cage-free versus the mass one versus whatever. I'll get like the 60 eggs like Brandy, and sometimes I don't care. I mean, it's cheap, it works, but I get tired of paying $6, $7, $8 a dozen for eggs. It gets very, very tiresome. And it's taxation on my pocket like crazy. So I might buy the big box and just be done with it and be okay. So if we're looking at alcohol, are you going to do alcohol on a ketogenic diet? Stuff like Michelob Ultra can be an option for you if that's something that you choose to have. I don't do alcohol because I lose control whenever I do it, but if you're going to, you want to try to find the lowest carb beers that you can possibly find. Michelob Ultra can be a good one. There's some other ones out there. I'm not a big drinker. Some whiskeys, vodkas, tequila, stuff like that. These can be things that you have, but it's not something you want to have all the time because it can take, 24 hours for it to get out of your system. You will not be knocked out of ketosis by drinking alcohol, but it will actually temporarily increase your ketone levels. A lot of people don't talk about that in the aspect that it needs to be talked about. It can take some time to get out. It will stall you out. You won't lose weight for a couple days probably. Your ketone levels will go up, but at the same time, you're gonna feel it the next day. Being on a ketogenic diet and drinking alcohol can affect you like 5 times as bad as before when you were drinking. Sodas and things of this nature, diet soda such as Diet Coke Zero, super popular. Diet Dr. Pepper, super popular. Diet Coke, super popular. Diet Pepsi, super popular. Now you have to be careful because, some people can have aspartame and not have a problem with it. I'm not being dogmatic and telling people not to have it. It's not the best option for you. If you need to start out by slowly taking yourself off of something, I would recommend doing like a sparkling water. Zevia has their own sparkling water now that has a hint of stevia in it to kind of lessen some of the tartness of the sparkling water. But they also have a Zevia soda that's flavored the same way. And if you're looking at Coke Zero, Diet Cokes, even Diet Pepsi, used to have a sucralose blend to it. They took the sucralose blend out and went back to aspartame, and that was their staple. They were trying to market it to show people we're taking aspartame out of our product and we're going to sucralose because it's a safer sugar. And then they just out of nowhere took and put the aspartame back in it again. If you're looking for diet stuff, you'll see that in these diet drinks, aspartame, phosphoric acid, potassium, and then if you look in the warning label here, it'll say phenylketonuria contains phenylalanine. A lot of times, people that have a condition called PKU, aspartame can affect that because the body doesn't like the phenylalanine amino acid. You're going to find, YouTube channels like Ginger in the UK or something like that that likes to make exceptions for things like that and tell people, oh yeah, that's false and that's not really true. But if you look at most of our keto docs that talk about stuff like this, they're telling you to stay away from stuff like that. You might like her as a YouTuber and stuff, and I'm definitely not talking bad about her, but a lot of people make their as much as I want to justify why I like Coke Zero so much, I can't do that. I'm not going to make my YouTube content to fit my need and lie to you guys because that's something that I want to have in my life. It's not the best choice. Aspartame is made with methanol, aspartic acid, and phenylalanine. So these things are not really essential amino acids for the body. They're nothing essential for the body, and they're actually shown in some studies to actually be harmful for the body. I won't say cancer causing and things of that nature. That's been around since 1980. There are no known diagnosed cancerous causes that have been directly pointed at aspartame. But what I can do is I can tell you a lot of these diet drinks and stuff like that, they're either going to have sucralose in it, aspartame in it. Foods are going to typically have dextrose and maltodextrin in it. These are things that you don't typically want in your diet. Dextrose and maltodextrin are the worst ones by far. Let's move on to some of these aisles over here. This is dishwashing stuff. That's my next endeavor, guys, is I'm actually going to start limiting the chemicals and stuff that I use and go into a more organic base and actually starting to make my own chemicals. That's my next step up. Alright, chips, snacks, and popcorn. We don't even really need to go down this aisle. This aisle consists of nothing that's going to help you. Let's do it anyway so I can show you guys. Anything that you see in this aisle is not going to be any kind of beneficial. Crackers, popcorn, chips, nothing other than pork rinds is going to be able to be used in this. If you guys are looking for something to drink and you're brand new to keto, you can have sugar-free Powerade drinks, the sugar-free, the zero ones, but they have sucralose in them. I just want to tell you that right now. And to be honest with you, they're kind of a waste of money. You're paying for flavor. There's not even that much electrolytes in them. They don't actually help that much. It's just something to drink. Again, you're paying for flavor. Pork rinds. You got your pork rinds and stuff here too, but if you actually pick up a bag of pork rinds and you look at the back of some of them, like here's Max. Let's pick up Max barbecue pork rinds. If you're looking at the back of Max barbecue pork rinds, one of the ingredients that you're going to see on the pork rinds is maltodextrin. That's 105 on the GI index. Not necessarily the smartest. Flavored pork rinds don't have the types of things that you want in them. If you get like they have better pork rinds online on Amazon that don't have that stuff in it, that are flavored, that you can get. You just pay a little bit more money for them. I get the Sam's brand and stuff like that. Though they don't have any additives in it. You want plain stuff. If you get flavored stuff, you're going to have to search over to Amazon to get the plain stuff. LaCroix can be a good water. There's some kind of controversial lawsuit out saying that, you know, LaCroix has all these cockroach pesticides and stuff in it. That's all a bunch of junk, hogwash. If you look at the stuff that's in there, it's been in a lot of products from the beginning of time. It's just something that they talk about it bad for us. It's really not all that bad for us. It's just these are natural products that occur in plants and things like that they can use to deter cockroaches and things of that nature. Clear American here. It's just like LaCroix almost. You got blueberry flavored sparkling water. You got LaCroix here. These don't have any additives or anything. Coconut water does have sugar in it. It's something you're going to want to stay away from. Some people make exceptions for it, but it's not that great. No calories, no sweeteners, all smiles. So this must be another sparkling water down here. It's called Bubbly. I've never seen this before. We get it, raw meat. We understand you like raw meat, and raw meat's the answer for everything. But raw meat, everybody doesn't want to hear about raw meat. Raw meat does not cure the craving for every single craving. It's not how it works. You can crave chocolate, but it be the magnesium that's in it. You can crave different types of salty foods, but it's the salt that's in it. You can crave meat, and it's the amino acid complex that your body's craving, or the vitamin B complex that's in it. It's not necessarily raw meat is the answer for everything. I get what you're saying, but this whole raw thing being brought up over and over again is starting to get a little annoying, to be honest with you. Any of this sparkling water here, clear, has it has aspartame and stuff in it. There are artificial sweeteners and stuff in here. Raw meat is definitely good, and I don't have any bias towards it at all. I love raw meat, but I mean, come on. Let's do the video here. Let's help people out. Let's not keep bringing raw meat up as the answer for everything. The cereals and stuff here have stuff like trisodium phosphate and stuff in it. Not necessarily that healthy for you. They're not keto approved at all. Tons of carbs, tons of grains, very inflammatory in general. Nothing in this aisle is going to be for you at all. If you see the perimeters where everything's at, shopping in the center aisles does nothing. Even the beef jerkies and stuff are laden with tons of sugar and stuff like that. Make that stuff at home yourself. These syrups and stuff, they do have sugar-free syrups. And if you're in a pinch and you have to have something, a sugar-free syrup is not necessarily terrible, but it's not good either. Back to these nuts and stuff over here. Any of these granola, breakfast drinks, any of that stuff, most of this stuff is going to be no good at all. You know, some people do have proteins. You know, they'll get like a protein of their choice, a liquid protein drink or something like that. That's fine, but make sure it's clean. Make sure and understand that whey isolate or hydrolyzed whey, or even these protein drinks that are super refined, are very insulin spiking. They're insulinogenic. They spike your insulin, your blood sugar pretty good. But that can also be used as a tool if you're a diabetic and you're about to have a big meal and you know your blood sugar is going to come up. You can actually purposely take that whey protein when you're done and try to help spike that insulin up without having to take an insulin shot, and actually try to help bring that blood sugar back down if you learn to control it properly. Any of these frostings and stuff like that is going to be junk. It's not going to be any good. All these oils, canola oils, vegetable oils, things of this nature, is going to be all junk. You're going to get an olive oil, a coconut oil, and an avocado oil. Those things are going to be okay. This is that algae oil that I was talking about right here. And it's supposed to be the healthiest fat for you. But if you look at the omega-3 to omega-6 ratio, omega-6 is 4 times the amount of omega-3. Not necessarily that great. If you look, Walmart has pure beef tallow now. They got cooking oil, beef tallow. They got clarified ghee. They have duck fat. The kind of coconut oil that I got was expeller pressed, but it was the light stuff. The best stuff is the virgin coconut oil that has been barely tainted. Seed oils, like I see some people talking about grapeseed oil up here, that's not necessarily that healthy. Any kind of seed oil has to be superheated or chemically used to extract the oil and stuff like that. It's not necessarily that healthy. If I was going to look at, peanut butter is not that bad for you. It is kind of inflammatory to some people. The omega-6 to omega-3 ratio is also off in that. It's not that great, but it's not bad either. If you're going to pick a sweetener, I would get a Truvia sweetener, but I would make sure that it is stevia and erythritol, or just plain stevia. This, if you look down here, this cane sugar one down here and Truvia can be very deceiving. Another one that can be very deceiving is if you look at this container of blended naturals here from Splenda. This is a clean product. This is stevia and erythritol here, but if you look at the bag that has the same label, they make it look identical. It's got regular sugar blended in it. It's not healthy at all. Splenda Zero, they have this new sweetener here that it just has literally water, sucralose, malic acid, sodium benzoate, potassium, sorbate, and preserve. But there's no more junk that was in this like it was before. So this is pure sucralose now. Splenda Zero, stevia. Another stevia leaf extract, and there's no more junk in this anymore. They took it out. Pure organic stevia liquid blend. You want to make sure it's a non-GMO product. Like these say non-GMO on them. These are the ones you want, because these come from like a you don't want GMO, because a lot of GMO will come from different types of corn and stuff like that, but stevia comes from its own entity, like erythritol and things of that nature. Any of these palm sugars, if you look at the stevia in the raw here, I bet you if we flip this around, stevia blend with other sweeteners. You got to be careful. Dextrose and stevia leaf extract. This stuff is junk. You want erythritol, stevia. Sucralose can be okay, but it ain't that great. Let's see here. Flours. If you're gonna buy a flour, get almond flour. This is good. That's pretty much the only good one here right now, other than, you know, you can get this coconut flour. But I don't really like coconut flour too much. It kind of tastes nasty to me. You can get some of this PB powder to make like a shake or something out of, but it's not actually all that great. Let's see here. Any of this stuff is going to be no good. Seasonings and stuff is not going to be that big a deal. You can have pretty much. This is my favorite seasoning right here, Slap Your Mama seasoning. It doesn't have any additives in it. It's all literally red pepper, salt, black pepper, garlic. They have a Slap Your Mama hot. They have like a cayenne blend. They got Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning. That stuff can be all right. But just in general, you're not going to want most seasonings that have any kind of sugar in it. It's not going to happen. You're going to want to load up on this pink Himalayan salt. Salt everything. You know, this pink Himalayan salt, and the trick to that is you're going to buy salt sometimes, it's not going to be very good. You got to look at the back of it and actually see that it says, like right here, it says product of Pakistan. You want to see that on the back of your salt. It says product of Pakistan. If it's not from Pakistan, it's not real pink Himalayan salt. Let's see here. This can be an aisle that can be beneficial for somebody that's new. These are all your drink mixes and stuff like that. They do have artificial sweeteners in them. Be very careful. It's not something that is ideal. These meal flavoring, electrolyte flavorings and stuff, they do have artificial sweeteners in them. Again, this can be used, but it is not ideal. You can make your own Ketorade. Look up Dr. Berry, his Ketorade video, and that you get all your electrolytes from that right there. The pudding snack packs back there in the corner, junk. Don't do it. Not okay. Any of these crackers and stuff, these juices down this aisle, none of this stuff is good for you. It's terrible. None of this stuff is okay. Keep walking past it. I wouldn't even pick this stuff up for my kids. If I wanted them to have some kind of snack, I would make it at home. Make it fresh. Make a keto cookie or fat bomb or cheesecake for them or something like that. Canned vegetables. Canned vegetables can work. A lot of these, you know, certain things can work anyway. Some people have green beans on keto, some people don't. It is a bean. Some people will say that it is part of the program. Some people will say it's not part of the program. You have to be the judge of that. Bone broth. That's where I want to go. Bone broth. Bone broth. Most of this stuff can be beneficial right here. This is what I come here to get. I get the Sam's bone broth. It's got plenty of collagen, plenty of amino acid complex, protein, it's got minerals, got vitamins and stuff. It's really, really good for your digestive tract, really good for your gut, especially if you're trying to heal any kind of sardines, tuna fish, things of that nature. This stuff can be really good for you. It's got a lot of nutrient density to it. It can be very good. Sardines especially. Just make sure they're clean. You can get them in olive oil. You can get them in avocado oil. You can get them in water. There's a lot of different ways you can get different types of fish that have a lot of good omegas for you. Now, if we were to look at sauces and things like that, soy sauce is very inflammatory. Soy sauce is very estrogen producing. On a ketogenic diet, if you're having problems with PMSing before, you're gonna have a lot of problems in the beginning PMSing now. It's just gonna happen that way. Your track's gonna be all over the place. Estrogen is gonna spike. Progesterone is gonna spike like crazy. Sometimes it'll be a week early, 2 weeks early. Sometimes it'll last a week or two longer, 3 weeks longer. It's gonna take about 4 to 6 months for these things to regulate. Now, the best spaghetti sauce, the healthy spaghetti sauce, is actually this Rayo's. It's got the lowest carb count. It's got the lowest sugar count. Anytime you come here, you'll see it's got about 4 grams of carbs per half cup. This is the healthiest stuff you can get in the store. It's the best tasting. It's the most natural tasting. Any of the Rayo's products. The other stuff, it's got too much sugar. It's got too much carbs. I don't consume that stuff a lot. I'm trying to see if that guy over there will start checking out the Rayo's stuff. Sure enough, he's going to the Rayo's. Yes! 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 I tried to say that loud enough so he can hear what I was saying. Any of this Rotel stuff, these canned tomatoes and things like that, can be used as sauces and soups and things of that nature. But
I went there in the daytime and I was skinny.
it did say vegan bone broth, vegetable bone broth, or vegetable broth or something like that. It said. If I was looking at different types of salad dressings and stuff, I would be careful, because the only salad dressing that I would actually start to entertain if I was new and I did want a salad dressing, I did want to make it home, would be like a really clean balsamic vinaigrette. Or you can have ranch, but ranch does have maltodextrin in it. If you actually flip around the bottle of ranch, let's just look at just a regular Hidden Valley Ranch, which is my favorite ranch dressing. If you look at the back of it, it's got soybean, canola, vegetable oil, maltodextrin. I mean, it's got all kinds of junk in this bottle of ranch. I wish they would clean it up, but they won't. Another thing, it's good for detoxing. It's good for heartburn and things of that nature. You got to go get yourself a big old bottle of Bragg's apple cider vinegar. Get yourself a big old bottle of Bragg's apple cider vinegar. Have a shot in the morning with some water. Have it at night before you go to bed. I mean, it is like the cure-all, detox, be-all kind of way of doing things. It is phenomenal for you whenever, at the end of the day, if you're having apple cider vinegar, I mean, it's a complete detox for the body. It holds amino acids, it has minerals and stuff to it. If you can actually find a coconut vinegar with the mother, make sure it's got the mother, because that webbing and stuff that's in there is the mother. That's the cloudiness that you're seeing inside that. That's where all the nutrient actually is. If you can find a coconut oil with the mother, that's even more potassium, that's even more amino acid complex, that's even more healing, that's even more nutrient dense for you. They used to have it here next to the vinegar, but you got to get it online now. And what that's done is they take tree sap from coconut trees and they ferment it double. They ferment it once to create the sugar form. They ferment it a second time to get rid of it, and that's when the webbing comes in. That's where all the nutrient density comes from. And when you find coconut trees that they take the sap from, that's typically a tree that's around some kind of very dense volcanic ash that has a lot of minerals and stuff to it that helps the tree really thrive and grow. Chocolate syrups and things like that, it's going to be a no-go. If I was to have a peanut butter, I would choose, excuse me dear, thank you. If I was to choose a peanut butter, I would choose the Maranatha, or I would choose the actual Sam's Club. The Walmart brand is the lowest one. It's like one. It's one of the Walmart ones up here. It has 1 gram of carb per serving. That's actually the best one that you can get. Frozen section. Any of the bread is going to be no good. The bread's not going to happen at all. It's just you're not going to get. Bread is not an option on keto unless you actually have like you make your own homemade keto bread, and then even at that, it's not super desirable because people overindulge. Any of these fries and stuff right here, not going to happen. Frozen products can be a savior for you, actually. I get big bags of vegetables. I make stews out of them. I don't like to cook my vegetables too long, because what happens when you cook vegetables too long, you actually draw the fiber material out of it and break it down, and you actually turn it into sugar. So I don't like a lot of frozen vegetables because people tend to overcook frozen vegetables. I like fresh, just so I can toss them in something, you know, and fry it around a little bit, so I don't break down any of. No, sourdough bread is not going to work on keto either, though. It's just too much of a temptation. There's too many carbs. Even though it's sourdough bread and it's fermented, it still won't work. If you actually wanted to get down to the nitty-gritty, that Ezekiel bread is the best regular bread that you can possibly get because of how it's made. The sprouted beans and stuff that they use to make it, that's the healthiest way. If you come over to the frozen section, you can make your cauliflower crust pizzas. You can make your cauliflower mash and stuff. If you look here, rice cauliflower is so popular now. Green Giant has made this massive family bag of rice cauliflower. I mean, I use rice cauliflower to make rice cauliflower garlic bread. I use rice cauliflower to make my pizza crust, as well as fathead dough pizza crust, which you guys can find my videos here on that. I do a lot of stuff with rice cauliflower in general. Any of this stuff here, these cakes, no go. Can't do it. If you're going to make a keto sweet, get it home. I love rice cauliflower. I mean, it does give me some gastric issues. Vegetables in general do, but I make some exception. I'm not the carnivore that's like super dogmatic that says, oh, I'm never going to eat vegetables. If I want to have a little avocado, I will. If I want to have a little broccoli, I will. But all vegetables make me bloat now, and I just simply have to go months, sometimes, well, I go weeks, if not months on end, without having any vegetables at all, because they just tear up my digestive tract. Even the good healthy ones, I just cannot do it. This is all just frozen junk meals, pizza pockets, rice and pasta bowls and stuff like that. None of this stuff is going to be an exception for anybody. Almost everything that we've seen today in the center section of the store is all junk. You really can't have it. You got to shop the perimeter of the store. Anything interior-wise is not going to work for you. Let's see here. We're down the ice cream aisle now. Ice cream aisle. So some of you are thinking like, oh my God, I can have ice cream. Can I? Please tell me. Please tell me. You can make your own ice cream. You can have some ice cream. There are certain types of ice cream that are kind of keto friendly, and if you do it in moderation and can control yourself, maybe you can have some ice cream. There's a brand called Enlightened. It has a low count sugar carbohydrate. It can be used, but it's not necessarily ideal. There's another brand called Halo Top. It does have regular cane sugar in it. It's not that great, even though it is. Here we go. So if we look, let's try to find the lowest calorie one just in general. I know calories in versus calories out is very inaccurate. Let's just try to find the lowest calorie one that we see here in general. So far I'm seeing 280. Okay, so let's just look at this oatmeal cookie one here. 15 grams of carbohydrates, 5 sugar alcohol, 3 sugar, 3 fiber. So my sugar alcohol, you can kind of take some of that away, but I never take all sugar alcohol away if I have something with sugar alcohol. We don't know exactly what sugar alcohol does to us.
You're going to find on certain keto channels where they actually claim, oh, this is how this works, and this, they don't know what they're talking about. We don't actually know how sugar alcohol actually fully affects the body. Sugar alcohol, some can be completely, some of them can be completely subtracted away, some of them can't, blah, blah, blah. We talk about, we know everything about it. We don't, it's not natural. So there are a lot of things that we're talking about, oh yeah, you can subtract all that. No, you really can't. This Arctic Zero, 9 grams of carbs, 4 grams of fiber, 5 grams of sugar so far. This is probably the lowest one so far, and probably tastes like crap. Organic cane sugar, prebiotic fiber, protein concentrate, peanut flavor, sea salt, monk fruit concentrate. So far, even though it does have cane sugar in it, I bet you this is probably the best one. This is so delicious. This is their new ice cream brand. It's supposed to be a lot better than the old one, but it does have a lot of sugar in it. Erythritol, cane sugar, tapioca syrup, coconut oil, chicory root, pea protein, rice starch, mango juice, 23 grams of carbs, sugar alcohol 4. So this is not that great. It's a lot better than what it used to be, but this is terrible. Chili Cow. Let's see here. 10 grams of sugar, 32 grams of carbs. I'm not even going to bother finishing. That's terrible. So you guys catch my drift now. Ice cream is not really an option either. Guys, remember, if you find any value in this video at all, share the video, give it a thumbs up, support me like I'm going to support you the best that we possibly can. Let's get this video out there. That was just a basic walkthrough at Walmart on the do's and don'ts, the what's keto, what's not keto. I hope that you find some kind of value in this. I hope that you like this type of video or whatever. I know I'm kind of in my face, showing you my crooked teeth and stuff like that, one of my insecurities. But this is me in the raw. This is rich in the raw, like stevia in the raw. Anyway, I'm going to do this week. This is going to be my Walmart walkthrough videos. I'm going to do Kroger. I'm going to do, what is the other store here? Sam's Club. I'm going to see if I can get to Costco. I'm going to do an Albertsons. I'm just going to walk through these stores and show you what is and what isn't keto, and what is okay and what's not okay. It's kind of like fine line keto if you are in a pinch and you need something. If you're looking for some snacks and stuff like that, having some deli cheese and some lunch meat and stuff is not that big of a deal. But if it's highly processed deli meat, I wouldn't go that route. I would actually try to pre-plan ahead of time, make some good meals and stuff like that, and I would definitely try to schedule things. But if you just have to stop, spur of the moment deal, jump into Walmart real quick, grab an avocado. Keep like I have a knife in my car all the time. If I need to slice an avocado open, I got like a little bag of spoons or something I can eat out of an avocado. I go grab some mozzarella cheese or some Swiss cheese if I need a couple slices of cheese. But remember, dairy in general can be very inflammatory. There's a lot of people that are not paying attention to it. And a lot of the conditions that we have, like lactose intolerance, is because we don't have a lot of people don't actually have a lactose intolerant condition because they don't produce enough lactase. The reason that they don't, biology, if you look at biology, if we don't actually have milk, because a lot of us after birth aren't meant to have milk continuously, we don't produce lactase. So one of the main reasons why we're lactose intolerant is because we quit drinking milk, and then that means our body doesn't have to produce lactase anymore, which we become desensitized to it, and then we don't have a reason to actually form this agent that interacts with lactose. So when we talk about lactose intolerance, it's not necessarily that we're intolerant to it, we just quit doing it and then we made ourselves intolerant to it, so we're not producing lactase anymore. Your body, if it's not used to doing something for a period of time, sometimes it can shut down that mechanism that very much creates that enzyme, that chemical, that protein, that amino acid, whatever that function, it does what it does because we quit doing something. It's like when you quit going to the gym. If you're benching 400 pounds right now, and then 6 months from now, you just quit going to the gym right now, and then 6 months from now, you go back. You're not going to be benching 400 pounds. It's not going to happen. You quit doing it, your body loses it. It doesn't have the ability to keep up. The muscle memory and stuff changes. It's the same thing with chemical processes and stuff that happen in our body as well. So a lot of the lactose intolerant issues is because we quit drinking milk and we quit eating dairy, and then our body becomes our body almost sees it as a foreign body, and we try to fight it and reject it, and that's where the inflammation and the digestive issues and stuff come from. But on the other hand, it's years of abuse with refined carbohydrates and sugar that cause some of these conditions as well. You have to be your own scientist. You have to be your own researcher. You have to figure out how these foods affect you. You have to try them out. Don't take my word for it on every single thing that I say. And dairy, cheese, cream cheeses, sour creams, all these things can be very inflammatory. I'm not saying don't have them. I'm saying try them. If you like them, limit them, and actually figure out if they can fit in your journey in general. Thank you, as always. I appreciate you guys being here. My Walmart walk is over. I hope you enjoyed this. Share the video, give it a thumbs up. I love y'all. God bless. See you later. Happy New Year.